And that was Clute with Desert Storm. Anyway, hello everyone. It is I, your pal, J.Ishiro, author and alien in a human suit, and it is Saturday. And I've done another show. It's a treat for you, really. I'm doing it for you, not me. Hey, Dread Pirate Bromando. Actually, yeah, you're not wrong and all, but that was a riff. The God is great, God is great, God is great at the end. He was ripping on the fact that all the jihadis yell Allahu Akbar, which means God is great. Um, anyway, how are we all doing today? Your heart needs this? Well, I am glad to be here for you then, fair maiden. How's it been? Are you doing better? You doing all right? And I thoroughly endorse this idea about getting a tattoo. She can fill in the details if she wants. Anyway, let's see. Let's try and make this. I'm off center here, as if you fucking care. Anyway, so what do you guys want me talking about today? You talking cat somewhere? Taking cat somewhere nice tonight? No, we're not. But that's a great idea. But we may go see Godzilla -1 today, depending on when she gets home. But we're going to be pushing up the game till we're doing the game today, the RPG, because Janelle can't do it tomorrow. So that's what we're going to be doing around 5 o'clock my time. Okay, Bar One says, does Arizona have any Christmas light trails? That is a good question. That probably they do. That'd be a great thing to do. I just learned one of my local haunt attractions is doing a lighted trail. You know what? I bet there are some, and I'll go check it out. Yeah, I've been very, very pleased with how I'm sure this area has always been very pro Christmas, but ever since they told us not to enjoy Christmas back in 20, what is it? No, it's 2020, wasn't it? When Biden said that we had to cancel Christmas essentially and all stay home. Um, it seems like everyone's gotten more aggressively pro Christmas with the decorations and celebrating and signs that say Merry Christmas. I mean, even the stores, supermarkets, everyone does it. It's kind of a great big fuck you. Even like the greeters at Walmart say Merry Christmas. They don't say Happy Holidays. That is my morning wake up mix, which is one can of Monster, and the rest of the bottle is filled with a kind of cherry flavored Gatorade. As if you fucking cared. We also thought about dropping by a gaming store today called Gaming University, just to see what they have, Christmas sales and all that. That was the place where Kat found the wheelchaired minis, where it was the D&D wheelchair warriors. Anyway. Let's see. Yeah, geez, I don't know. I just liked hanging out with you guys so much the last week that I figured I'd do another show. But I don't really have anything to talk about. Well, good night, everyone. That was a good show. Good talking to you. See you at the game. And no, seriously. Wolf, yo, man, Med's got you bugging. More casts than I can count at different times at work. Yeah, that is true. Meds have got me bugging. That is absolutely true. Well, what it is like I said, they put me on a new medication, which I started getting used to it. Really liked it. It's like, shit, this is making all the difference. And then they said, surprise, now you need to take 2 of these a day. It's like, oh, fuck, now I have to get used to it again. So that's where I'm at. And yeah. But I don't know. It's just, we've been having such good shows lately, just hanging out. Let's see what else. Yeah, you could get me started on aviation. You could get me started on guns again. Actually, that's probably better with cat around. Um, could talk about bizarre music. You know, thoroughly unrelated, but last night Creature Feature was running the film Black Christmas. If any of you are familiar with that, it's kind of an interesting thing. The film Black Christmas is a slasher film. Let me get the date on that. I want to get the date to get this right. Now, as we all know, everyone credits Halloween as being the creator of the modern slasher. That was like considered the first modern slasher film, and Psycho was kind of considered the first slasher, but the first modern slasher was Halloween, which came out in 1978. What's interesting is that the film Black Christmas, which frankly I think is a much better film, came out in 1974. And ignore the fact that it's a Christmas film. I mean, yeah, okay, it's kind of dark considering Christmas and all, but it's a good movie. I mean, it's got Margot Kidder, Olivia Hussey, the dude who played Dave Bowman in 2001. It's got John Saxon as a police or as a sheriff. Oh, and as some of the people from SCTV in it. But what's interesting is that it predates Halloween by 4 years. It has the same thing of a slasher on a holiday, and it has all the conventions of a typical slasher film. And I'd have to argue it actually is the first. Have any of you guys seen this thing? And it even weaves in a moral message without being terrible. And there's a couple of the moral messages, one of them being that for a long time through the film, you think that a character's asshole boyfriend must be the slasher. And then it turns out, no, he's not the slasher. He's just an asshole, which was kind of a nice twist. It's not a horror movie until it has John Saxon in it as as a sheriff. There were remakes of Black Christmas. I'm sorry, that sounds awful. A Nightmare on Elm Street with John Saxon. Yeah, but yeah, just kind of interesting. Let's see what else you guys have to say. Yeah, Brandon Tennell did a very good review of it. Oh, what else have we been doing? Yeah, I don't know. It's like Olivia Hussey did that. Yeah, she is very beautiful. She did that Romeo and Juliet, Roman Polanski. And she like her star went way up. She did a few films, and then a couple years later, she was stuck doing crappy B movies. And it's like, what the hell happened? So you get typecast like poor Linda Blair did. And by the way, that is so unfair what happened to Linda Blair. She did The Exorcist, and that was it. She was forever typecast, which is a shame because one, she grew into one hell of a beautiful woman, and two, she can act. She is a really good actress. Uh, well, let's see. I could show you what I'm up to. Let's do a share screen. And I could work on, well, I can't. Let's see if I can do this so I can see your chat comments while I work, because otherwise this is pointless. There we go. So I'll be able to see what your comments are as I work. Linda did a movie called Hell Night that's good. Really? It's been a long, long time. On a completely different subject, I am really looking forward to seeing the Godzilla film, Godzilla Minus One. As Barwan, I still appreciate that the mech has toes. Well, you kind of need them. Um, let's see. Hollywood, full of missed opportunities, broken promises, and mismanagement. Yes, you're. Oh God, there's this huge list of people in my head who've just tons of talent who have utterly been screwed by Hollywood. G-1 is so good. Well, it looks good. It looks very, very good. And Rick, do gray aliens associate with the Gwen's door, Poland creepy Santa from the stars? What the fuck? Okay, I have no idea what the hell you're talking about. I have to look this up. Okay, let me take a look. Well, I got something in Polish. Dead Moros, St. Nicholas, Gwandor, or Santa. And he's called Starman. Okay, I'm going to have to look into this later. I have no idea what this is, but this looks good and fascinating. But, speaking of the UFO stuff, that's been pretty interesting lately. It's kind of gets me is that people say, well, everybody's got a cell phone now. Why aren't we spotting UFOs all the time? And the weird thing is we are. And the problem is that, what do I say? The problem is we can't tell anymore what is a drone, what is CGI, and what's real. Really, the only way to confirm is when you have multiple witnesses all filming the same thing from different angles. And even then, it often gets buried. For instance, did you know that the base in 29 Palms, California, had an incident recently where they had a flyover and it was just like the Phoenix Lights, the exact same thing. And tons of people saw it, tons of photographs, got zero coverage. You can find it online. You can find it, I think, in the local newspapers of 29 Palms and in the military. Is it Stars and Stripes? But that's it. Woke Hollywood seems to want to hijab female actresses these days. Hollywood is run by Islamic sect now. No, it isn't. No, it is not. It is not ran by an Islamic sect. We know who runs Hollywood, and for some reason, they're all obsessed with anorexic blondes. It's very, very weird. And in fact, when the Me Too thing came out in Hollywood, one of the things that made everyone really uncomfortable is all the ones that turned out to be legit, almost always, it was a Jewish Hollywood producer or director, and usually the person he was victimizing was a very skinny, very Aryan-looking woman, usually blonde. That was the pattern. So no, they don't want to put them in hijabs. They've got a very specific look they like. And if you're into Gwyneth Paltrow, that's fine. You're into Gwyneth Paltrow. She's cute, but she doesn't really do anything for me down there. I mean, she's a beautiful woman, but I can't say she's what I would qualify as hot. And then if a woman's directing the film, oh God, yeah, then they want someone who is ugly. Let's be honest. If a woman's directing a film, the women they want are usually generally unattractive. And that's that. Oh, you're working on some kaiju designs, Neostar? Excellent. So, anyway, as I said, I'm kind of just waiting for Kat to get home, and then we'll start our day. Have no idea what we'll end up doing. So do any of you guys use Illustrator for this kind of stuff, just out of curiosity? I mean, it's a little less intuitive than Photoshop, but once you get used to it, it's very useful. It's a very good tool. Honestly, Nia, honestly, I've always been drawn toward brunettes. I can understand that. I don't know. My tastes run the gamut. I think that's one of the things that a lot of women don't understand is that there is usually, I mean, okay, there are certain guys that have A type and they're stuck on that and thoroughly stuck on just A type. You're trying to acquire an illustrator. I thought you're a pretty good artist yourself, though, Wolf. Is it just a time thing? But getting on the thing of type, for the women out there, because I know that for whatever reason, women are generally wired one of two ways. Either a woman knows she's damn hot and is going to take full advantage of it and use that feminine advantage to her fullest until she ages out, or more commonly, for whatever reason, every woman thinks they're inadequate and ugly, and it's like, Jesus, no, you're not. That's it is. I don't know. I mean, okay, maybe nowadays it's a little worse because of them encouraging all the girls to get fat, but in general, that's not the case. And yeah, men may have a type, but it's not so. I don't know. I don't know. It's usually like I'll mention myself. Uh, it spans the gamut for what I like. I mean, yeah, I like big knockers, but I also, if a woman is fit, that's fine too. If she's got that very streamlined look, a very well sculpted body is nice. But you know, I'm Hapa or Hafu. I will admit I like Asian women, very very beautiful. But I also have a real thing for Irish redheads, especially spicy ones that have a temper. What can I say? But brunettes as well, you get the pale skin, the alabaster skinned black haired goth girls. Hell yeah. And I'll take it a step further. I like fit. I like muscular. I like a little chubby. All three I like. And I I don't know. I think a lot of women don't realize how beautiful they are and how it doesn't take a lot of effort for that beauty to come out. I mean, if a woman has a little weight on her, if she can wear it well and knows how to dress, that's all it takes. That's all it fucking takes. Oh, Tweldy, no, have not seen it yet, but I'm planning to. Um, actually, I think one of the most attractive people I've ever seen was a friend of ours has a sister. She's a Nigerian. She's got that honey-colored skin. Got the tall runner's build. Very, very beautiful. Very regal. But and it's just I don't know. What Fair Maiden have to say? Well, not get fat, but hey, encouraging being unattractive to men is in a number of ways, any number of ways, yeah. Fair Maiden, I never learned to fancy art. Oh, okay. So this is not goes straight back to physical media. All the anxiety just ceases. Well, some people work better with their hands. Horrible. What's going on with Hollywood's current goldfish-eyed fetishery? Yeah, I've noticed that they're kind of all stuck on these girls with the Innsmouth look, as you put it, where their eyes are really far apart, and it's like, is this from inbreeding, or is this a new trend? They're getting inbred people. Wolf Media. I like to think it's Mama's Boys running women's designs more than women, because we all know that these broads can't get shit done unless a man can be coaxed to do so. Well, I gotta say, clothing for women was a hell of a lot classier when it was men deciding what was hot and women designing the clothing. If you look at like the 40s and 50s, I mean, the 40s had class. Damn, did they have class? It was a Christian Dior and I'm trying to remember the various women who founded their own companies back then. Dualdi. So you're a normal man. Yeah, well, maybe, except for the gray alien part, yeah. Hot redhead girls get the least work in Hollywood. Marilyn Manor had dyed her hair blonde. To me, she lost her sex appeal. Yeah, and it kind of bugs me as like another very beautiful. I mean, she's middle-aged, but beautiful is Kelly Riley of she's what on Yellowstone now. She's a redhead. They dyed it blonde, and now she's got work. And it's like, shit, man, why? Or what was it? The one redhead who was the ginger who was Doctor Who's assistant. They put her in a Marvel movie. They paint her blue and shave all her hair off. I put that name in, and all I'm getting are pictures from a Gem comic book. Okay, let's try this. Yeah, I'm getting stuff from a comic book. I'm not actually getting a woman. I don't know. Hey, platinum blonde's nice though. Platinum, there's very, very nice. Normal gray. Yes, we'll probe anyone. But yeah, men have their preferences, but I think women need to realize that the preferences are a lot more broad. This notion that every guy wants Pam Anderson, and no offense to her, she was an attractive woman, but this notion that all men want that, I don't know where women get this idea. I don't know where this misnomer comes from. Bar one, look, get your ass in a field in somewhere. Your ancestors were 200 years ago, ladies. Black, white, Asian. We dudes are unanimous that 200 years ago plus field work, plus field works on a dating profile. I mean, I know that advertisers and there are various predatory advertising that plays on women's fears. I mean, that's just advertising. That's how advertising works. But I don't know. Ladies, how do you think we could fix this? That if we could convince women to stop striving to be ugly because they're already beautiful, they don't have to meet some ridiculous standard. I don't know. That's always been a kind of a personal peeve of mine, is that even when it wasn't a huge problem, it used to bug me. I mean, I can say without a doubt, every woman I've dated, every single one of them had those issues. And I don't know. Neostar Productions, yeah, my giant heroin Masset is apparently also pretty popular. So I'm trying to come up with at least 3 more kaijus for the. Dude, when do I get to see these stories? I'm curious. Share some of this to the Discord. I'd love to see it. Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. Bar One Studios talking about what, ancestors 200 years ago. Well, even further back, I mean, for all the claims of cultural tribalism, once any nation started trading, men started having sex with the local. I mean, throughout history, you look at the moment a civilization got onto the Silk Road or one of the trading routes through Syria, they instantly, the travelers started having sex with the local women, and that's a given. In fact, the only part of the world that didn't do that was sub-Saharan Africa, and there's a couple reasons. First of all, it was so damn hard to get there, and second, for whatever reason, the locals tended to kill anyone who showed up. Hell, humanity was banging Neanderthals. Again, except sub-Saharan Africa, who killed all of them. So obviously men weren't picky. And I mean, apparently Neanderthal women looked like men. So there's a type for everybody. Everybody has a type. Yeah, apparently Neanderthal women looked like dudes. And even they got laid by humans. Okay. Oh, what did Humble say? Humble, you look prim and proper. Stop being modest. Good vibes. Yeah, she doesn't show up anymore much because her work isn't allowing it. But like Catherine was so damn self-conscious. I've seen Catherine's face. She's pretty. She is pretty. And it's like, she wouldn't believe me. Marty, I don't even think that way. Then again, I'm wired differently. If I'm able to cook nice, if I'm able to look nice and do good, then I'm good. Well, I think you and Aloise are kind of those rare females like Kat that aren't wired that way. You don't think about it. With Kat, the only thing that ever really hung over her head was weight, and she's talked about that. Her mom went out of her way to try and make her fat, so she's got a little bit of a complex of that. But hey, she once she lost weight, she never gained it back. She works her ass off to make sure she stays fit. The woman hit 40 this year, and she's much thinner than most millennials. She's still got her hourglass, so I'm proud of her. Hate EXE says, well, shouldn't that be hate.exe, not comma? Well, whatever. They are promoting a fish face look to women. Yeah, they are. Where are the redheads? They hate redheads for some reason. They hate the Irish. R1, wait, so Kat is taller than you. So you actually have one of them redheaded giants in your house? Kinda. Well, she's not that much taller. I'm an inch and a half, maybe. It depends. I don't know. I mean, part of it was for the longest time, I didn't know she was taller than me until we started dating and her self-esteem got better and she started standing up straight. And it's like, oh, yeah, you're kind of noticeably taller than me. And then she put on the boots with the 2-inch heels, and then she was very noticeably taller than me. So let's see. My eyes are about at nose level with her. Does that kind of give you a visual? Wolf, they say we want Pam Anderson, but they see us with librarians, teachers, church ladies, nurse. Yeah, exactly. Harble, Mr. President, the aliens have made their demands. They want us to take them to their busty tomboy waifus. Well, yeah, tomboys are great. Christopher Johnson says, and I think he's talking about Hollywood, they hate humanity. It's about demoralization. If you see beauty, then you would go against the programming as a human and are bad. Against the programming of humans. I think really, since so many people have such a hard time figuring out what the hell what is moral anymore, they can't seem to decide what is evil, or they don't believe in evil. If it's anti-human, it's evil. Done. If it is anti-human, it is evil. If the actions are done in the spirit of removing or denying someone's humanity, that is evil. It shouldn't be hard. It was one of the perks of being a sailor or a Viking. Of course, the Vikings weren't actually paying or courting. They were just kind of taking what they wanted. Fair Maiden White. We've always been told to show what the ideal was and told how easy it is to get the look. Only it wasn't easy, and we never could be the it girl. Then we were seemingly discarded. Well, the ideal is different for every man. I mean, I think that's one thing I hope to communicate in the next book, Boobs of Steel book, is that there is no one concept of the feminine ideal that's unique to every man. And one of my theories is, hold on, that's a monster burp there. I get into the fact that there really aren't a hell of a lot of iconic female heroines or Amazonian heroes that were created by women. I mean, you look at all these characters we hold up high, and they're the creations of men. And, Sarah Connor, lo and behold, that kind of was James Cameron's ideal woman. Motoko Kusanagi, the film version, that was the idea of Mamoru Oshii's ideal woman. Ghost in the Shell, for those of you who missed the reference. Let's see, what's another one? Friday, by Robert Heinlein. That was his ideal woman. I mean, now granted, I'm sticking to kind of the more Amazonian action hero types. Oh shit, Wonder Woman. That was Marston's ideal woman. And, that goes across the board. I mean, he doesn't show up much anymore, but Elton's ideal woman is, what's her name? Noi from Dorohedoro, who's granted very hot. I'll give you that. Why did Brits sail the world? Have you seen British women? Oh, that's mean, horrible. There are a lot of very attractive British women, especially the Celt ones. I mean, come on. You've got the regal British women like Mary Tam, who played the first Romana. You've got the woman who played Leela in Doctor Who. I mean, they had that very regal Romanized Brit look. And then you had all the Celt cuties with the tight waists and the huge knockers and the red hair. Oh, you watched that video? I've been watching vids about punk and the CIA. Is there more than one video? That was fascinating to find out that the CIA was using punk rock to their advantage. And what they were using it for was to influence the Eastern Bloc into the idea of questioning authority, breaking rules, and trying to convert them to the West. I thought that was very, very interesting. And, it would also be interesting if that's why Sting these days is such a, flaming libtard, and that maybe he's overcompensating for the fact that he had been an agent for the CIA. But, a lot of people really misunderstand punk because of Jello Biafra and Bad Religion as being the super left-wing thing. And, because of fuckers like that, now it's, punk these days isn't punk, it's commie rock. It's for communists. Fuck communists. But, like the Cramps, they were conservative. John Lydon, he's a Trump supporter. Gary Newman voted for Margaret Thatcher. Lee Ving and Fear, they're conservative. X, conservative. I mean, and conservative in the more libertarian, anti-authoritarian bent of live free or die, but still, they're not fucking commies. Okay. Wolf, I'm surprised that Sybil got a lot of love. I thought people were getting bored of her. Okay. Um, Hate EXE. Isn't that why we beat them? Because we outproduced them and better weapons? Okay. If you're talking about the Soviets, yeah, we outspent them, and it was just basically the Soviet people, the people of Russia had been promised utopia. And by the 70s, it became very, very clear that utopia was never coming and the West was thriving. The lie fell apart. Okay, Neostar. I could have swore I showed you and Cat Masset a while back. But you're right, it's been ages since I've haunted the Discord. Yeah, post some of your stuff. I'd like to see it. The orc Dommy Mommy thing is just sublimated lust for Neanderthal girls. You sick bastards. You know, that you might be onto something there. You might be onto something. I mean, the whole orc fetish kind of gets me. I don't quite get it, but you know what? Hey, to each their own. Orc girls need love too. Fair Maiden White. Only when we stop listening to the bullshit and notice how much better we are than the ideal, then we are set free to recover from decades of abuse. We're trying, and we'll get there. Well, another point I make in Boobs of Steel, and I'm going to keep making it in the further books, is the ideal is never, well, first of all, every man has the ideal, but the ideal is never meant to be achieved. I mean, um, just for example, I know this is kind of a hard thing to bring up because now most people are monotheist, but the concept of the gods, these were ideals of concepts. You were never going to achieve them, but you would strive. I mean, I guess the Christian equivalent is, you're never going to be Christ, but you're supposed to strive to be Christ-like. Well, that applies to all aspects of life. We have ideal notions in our head as a culture, as a whole, of what the ideal is. And these ideals are beyond reach, but that's not the point. We have them so we can strive toward them, but achieve them, no. I mean, we're human, we're fallible. Okay. Ishi, have you heard of The Fourth Turning by Howard and Strauss? A little bit. I've looked into it. At this point, I don't know. It's such a hard call. The fourth turning is this idea that empires rise and fall at a certain rate, and that there comes a point in which a rival one superpower will rival the other, and one either has to fall or decline or go to war. And I don't know. There definitely is some truth to it, but at the same time, a lot of these sweeping statements are really hard to quantify. Very, very hard to quantify. I mean, like all the comparisons to us and Rome, and there are plenty. There are plenty of comparisons to us and Rome, but then at the same time, the Roman Empire fell, but it really didn't. There was the Roman Empire, then the Holy Roman Empire, and guess what? The Roman Empire is still around. It's called the Vatican. It never went away. It's not the empire it was, but it's still there. The British Empire, when it fell, Britain didn't just collapse and go away. So there are a lot of examples through history where that hard rule doesn't quite apply. And we're living in uncharted times. Never before have we been more connected. Never before has information moved so quickly. I think there are far too many factors at play. We can bring up all the things going on around us right now that are like Rome, but I could simultaneously make an argument that what we see around us looks a hell of a lot more like Weimar Germany. Or another one, the Chinese. Their rule about empire, the rule about empires with them doesn't work because it never fell. All the way back to the first emperor. Mao was just another emperor. He just used it was with the trappings of communism. But you look past the trappings of communism, it's the same controlling legalist philosophy that the emperors had. And with China, they never have a golden age. It's always they have a strong man, they rise. As soon as he dies, weaklings come into control, they decline, fall, a strong man comes back into power, they rise, and that's been a cycle they've been doing for thousands of years. So it's a really hard one. What specifically about the fourth turning would you want me to comment on? Don Giles, hell, my wife, God rest her soul, was 6'1". I'm 6. My son is 6'6". Holy shit. I've seen the Osborne Family podcast. The mother-daughter have the fashion fish face look. Oh, God. You know, Ozzy's wife is just a cunt, and their daughter is an idiot. I mean, she's a chicken head, man. She is a complete chicken head. Every time she opens her mouth, just stupid shit comes out. Okay, going through your comments. Hate EXE. The Amazon women I know Big Barda, but she was based on the artist's wife. Sort of. Yeah, Big Barda was the ideal woman for Jack Kirby. Barda's personality was based on his wife. Barda's looks, she had the face and boobs of actress Lainey Kazan, and her body was apparently based on the fact that one day Jack found a weightlifting magazine left in the offices of DC, and he had went through it, and he had seen some of the 70s era female bodybuilders when they were more feminine, and threw that into the mix. Wasn't Wonder Woman based off of Marston's secretary live-in Dom? Sort of. Wonder Woman's personality was a cross between his wife and his live-in secretary dominatrix. The face was the dominatrix. The armbands or the wristbands were the dominatrix. The body was based on the Vargas girls, the pinups of the 1940s. Give me a second. And I think I put that in Boobs of Steel. Yeah, I did. In Boobs of Steel, I do a whole chapter on that. And I mention that is that, let's pull up an image. I'm trying to find the one that was like his favorite. Okay. It seems to be popping up like the same three for some reason. Well, I'll share this one for now. Hold on a second. These pinups of the 40s, 50s, and a little bit into the 60s were done by Alberto Vargas. Great artist. I love these, by the way. He was one hell of a painter. And in Marston's notes, and again, you can read all about this in Boobs of Steel, because as I said, I do an entire chapter on the creation of Wonder Woman. Man, I'll just have to say again, search engines have gone to crap. Let's try Google. Yeah, okay. This is a little better. This is the figure that he had imagined for Wonder Woman, and the thing is that quite a few women modeled for Vargas. Here we go. Let's do this one. This is Betty Grable when she modeled for him, but almost always the body of the Vargas girls were based on Vargas's wife. And in fact, he was so dependent that on his wife as the model that when she passed away, he stopped painting. He just stopped. And he'd kind of lost his love and his muse, and he couldn't do it anymore. But when Wonder Woman, when he was creating Wonder Woman, in the notes, Marston expressly said her figure should be that of a Vargas girl, and that he said that she should have the measurements of, I believe it was 36, 24, 36, or was it 38, 24, 38? I forget, something to thereabout, but it was the measurements of Vargas's wife. So it was a mix of three different kinds of women, or three women. His wife is dominatrix and the wife of Alberto Vargas. And so anytime that they start making Wonder Woman mannish or look like a modern weightlifter, it's like, look, that goes against the very concept. Vargas was the Vargas girl was such an integral part of Wonder Woman's character. And there was like a whole thing he had written about why she had to have these measurements and these looks, and why it was key to who the character was. That when they started taking that away from Wonder Woman, it's like, oh, okay, well, no, she needed to be, again, his era's feminine ideal. Okay, so anyway. Bjorn, all women are beautiful. It is the heart that determining to me. Well, are all women beautiful? I mean, I don't know. I mean, Ozzy Osbourne's wife, I don't know. That's someone I think that needs to be hit by a car. I don't know, that dyke, was it Rapinoe from the soccer team? She isn't beautiful. She needs to be hit by a car, or Truck Chan needs to take care of her. I don't think I could deal with that. Okay, back to this. Humble Marty, to be fair, I think trying to find one's personal standards of what makes them look good, it's a rite of passage. If we didn't work for it, we wouldn't appreciate it. Oh, we've got to work for it. Absolutely. If it comes easy, it doesn't mean anything. Bar one, especially the Celt women. Look at Pierce Brosnan's wife. She's built for cuddling during those long winters. Hell yeah. English people are mostly a mix of Celt and German mixing. Well, keep in mind there was also the Romanized Brits, which is where you get a lot of the long, thin features. Hell, Chun-Li is essentially my ideal woman. She would be one of mine too. Yeah, I'm there with you. Yeah, yeah. That she can kick that much ass, and those thighs. Fuck yeah. A fair maiden white Jellyby offer is so in love with himself, he ought to be dating a mirror. Yeah, the guy is a narcissist, and he never grew up past the age of 14. Sting was never a punk. He was a middle class student, teacher, lefty, proverbial lefty. Yeah. Well, I can't say I have any one single ideal woman, but I mean, um, in the spirit of film noir, the women in film noir were largely, or not just film, but the books were largely the writer's fantasy of the perfect woman. A lot of these femme fatales were their ideal woman. And so, in that vein, I did it myself in Case File Arkham. Here's one of my concept of one of my ideals was Glinda. Holy crap! Who wouldn't want Glinda? Yeah, the feisty Irish American with a killer figure and a awesome personality who didn't take any shit. Okay. Crypto Comics. All I want to know is if you catch my epic review of Case File Arkham. Oh no! Let me. I'll watch that after this. When did you do it? By the way, did you know that recently, when Indiegogo got bought out by woke people, they took away our ability to sell Case File Arkham on their site. The policy had been as long as you keep selling them on a monthly basis, you could keep them on the site. And we've been selling ever since we did that Kickstarter or that Indiegogo campaign. They still said, nope, we don't want you anymore. Took it down. The 40s and 50 female era bodybuilders are amazing. So were their wrestlers, actually. Work beckons up. See you later, Wolf. Okay. Fair Maiden White. Josh is welcome to make a reaction video to my video. Christopher Johnson. I think you're right, Ishi. History rhymes but rarely repeats. I think the parallels with Weimar Germany is interesting, especially with the financial collapse and the sexual depravity. Yeah, I mean, right before the fall of Weimar Germany, before a very charismatic leader took over, the person who was in charge of Weimar Germany was a old, long-time political general who was so senile he had no idea what was going on. What's that sound like? And you had communists in the streets raising hell. You had newspapers and banks encouraging leftist violence. In fact, I'll be up front, small hat people were trying to cause a revolution and bring down the current government in favor of a communist one. They had all these migrants. They were flooding in migrants from Hungary, and they were all communists. And they were a drain on the system, and they were violent as hell. Man, I've been meaning to check out Dan DiCarlo's pinup collection. He was an artist whose style was to emulate. Okay, let me look that up. I think I'm probably familiar with his work, but I would really love to see beauty and sexuality in this country kind of return to the playfulness and the beauty of that era of the 40s and 50s pinups. I don't know. It was like things started to decline bad in the 60s, and by the 70s, it was full on embracing debauchery and trashiness. Suddenly, sex in general was associated, it had to be trashy and ugly. Did you notice that? The latest Wonder Woman looks like she has pecs, not boobs. Yeah, see, that's a complete betrayal of Marston's vision. No, Brosnan's wife was engineered for cuddling. Years of careful sculpting to his ideal. Architect. Let's see if I can find a picture of this woman. Oh, I remember. That poor woman was getting shit on. It's like, because let me bring up the pictures. Let me do a share screen. Okay. So this was his wife, apparently. And she is quite lovely. And as she aged, she got a bit thicker. And I know that she got a lot of shit for this, but people get old. Weights fluctuate. And the fact that they'd be ripping on this woman's kind of fucked. Yeah. So, yeah, I think we can only hope to age as well as these two, right? Okay. What about the Norman conquest? Oh, do you mean with the Brits? I think that was more the Celts that they were invading. Yes, noir films did idolize women. Oh, okay. So the Case File Arkham review went up on Crypto Comics November 1st. Okay, cool. Isn't there a Fund My Comic site? Bar1 asks. I'll have to check that out. Is that a good place to go now? The problem is I don't have an artist. I need an artist if I'm going to go back to that, and I've got books to finish. My Z comic exists now. Find my Z comic exists now. Okay. All right. It's likely the Small Hat tribe caught. No, it's not. It's not that it's likely. It is. It's not in question. It is. The bankrupting of Germany by the rest of Europe was a massive contributor to it. But that wasn't what. But, the fact that they were getting shit on and dumped on and attacked financially by the rest of Europe didn't necessitate that you would have an ethno state. It would not have necessitated that kind of strongman to come into positions of power. Really, what it was what allowed Hitler to come into power wasn't just the financial situation, but the fact is that first of all, he was mentored by the Jewish Communist Party. For a time himself, he was a communist and was mentored by the Jewish guy who led the Communist Party in Germany. And he got disgusted with it, left. And really what it was he noticed the same thing the rest of Germany noticed, which was when they looked at the drug trade, who was making the money and who was doing it. When it came to the bordellos and the child prostitution, who was running it? Well, when it came to the bankers who were screwing them and swindling them out of their money and repossessing all their property, who was doing it. When it came to the newspapers, who were lying and essentially trying to um, was it demoralize the German people and make them feel bad about them being German, trying to destroy their culture. It was, well, one group of people. Who owned the politicians who were looking the other way as crime ran amok? Certain group of people. Who was it? Who were the communists in the streets knifing people and burning buildings down? Who were the ringleaders? You see, it was that. That's why it was so easy for him to get the German people to jump on board, because all the German people had to do was look around them. That's it. That is it. They just look around him and said, yeah, this isn't really working out for us. Now, how he handled it's a different issue. I mean, frankly, he had, him invading and shitting all over Poland's just vile. Of course, the Germans have always hated the Poles for some reason. And setting up extermination camps, well, that's vile too. And, the thing that we don't talk about much is, do you know why they've made Mengele one of the big boogeymen of the Fourth Reich or the Third Reich? Was that yes, he was a Dr. Frankenstein monster. He did horrible, horrible, horrible things. But there were others too. There were a lot others that were doing just as vile experimentation, but we don't hear about them. And the reason being, the big thing that made people uncomfortable about Mengele is Mengele was specifically trying to find out, okay, are there genetic propensities for certain behaviors? And he was finding success. And let's face it, that is very dangerous research. That is research that should make us uncomfortable. I mean, really. I mean, because one, there are genetic propensities for certain behaviors, but that doesn't mean that they rule us. We don't have to. Not always, at least. We're only half animal. We still got that other half, sapient, which means wisdom, which means that we can actually choose different paths. We don't have to be the animal. Of course, usually we need some sort of philosophy or religion to help guide us. So no, it isn't that they helped. It is they did. And I will stand by that. Okay. Bronston's wife is very beautiful to me. She seems so warm and real. Makes me wish I knew her. I bet she has a wonderful laugh too. Yeah. And you know what? She put on weight. So what? What's she, like 50, 60? Yeah, she's a beautiful woman. I think most of us would be lucky to have a wife that looks like that when you're 50 or 60 years old. And I think it's bullshit that they treated that Hollywood shits on her. Christopher Johnson, Wall Street and the Bolshevik Revolution by Sutton. Yeah, it might be worth looking into. Okay. Bar one, there's a million happily married couples across the American Midwest that look exactly like this and have at least 3 kids. Good for them. Good. Fair Maiden, now I want to go back and reread Case for Larkin books. Well, hey, go for it. I'm not going to tell anyone not to. Go ahead, read my books. BGC, I've seen your art. You're good. But I will need to ask, can you do sequentials? Can you stay on model? That's really the main challenge when it comes to comics. There are a lot of really good artists out there, but really, for me to bring an artist on board, they have to prove 2 things. They can do sequentials and stay on model, and 2, they can finish a project. There are a lot of cover artists out there that can do great covers, but when it comes to sequential art, a lot of people don't realize how hard it is for an artist to crank out 100 pages. Even in a year's time, 100 pages. That is some serious work. And a lot of artists do not have the stamina for it. First, they came for the communists because the commies. Well, you know what? I really hate that poem for a lot of reasons. And I'm gonna tell you why I hate that poem. Now, that poem has been used to death. And it's posted. There's a version of that poem posted at the Holocaust Memorial Day Trust, and it was a charity established by the British government. And it goes as follows. First, they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Well, in Weimar Germany, the communists were largely Jewish. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Most of the socialists in Germany were Jewish. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. The ringleaders of the trade unions were primarily Jewish. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not see. I noticed they didn't talk about anyone else there. Yeah, they didn't talk about the Poles and the Catholics who got it. To this day, no one wants to admit the fact that the Poles were the first to get it in the camps. It was the Polish Catholics who were forced to build the camps and then were exterminated in them. Funny Austrian man had J-tribe friends, and his favorite little girl was a J-tribe. Even the pink swastika was stuff they didn't want. Well, I don't even know what you're talking about there. No, we have been so misled about World War II, and not just about the Jewish stuff, but Europe in general. They dumped it all on Germany because it was easy. But the fact is, Europe all of Europe is to blame for World War II. All of them hold a large, are largely responsible for what happened in Germany. It wasn't like suddenly one day the Germans decided to take over the world. No. Europe and no, just read about World War One. Read about World War One and just how fucked up it was. They were essentially beating on Germany, and at the end of World War II, General Marshall, with his Marshall Plan, one of the reasons he did that is he did not want a repeat of World War I. He did not want to leave Germany in a state that would lead to yet another Hitler. He wanted them to be our friends and trading partners. And that worked out for a while until the communists took over again. Undead Quinn, the point they removed is Nazi gay clubs for the history books. Interesting. Didn't know about that. I knew there were a lot of gay men who were Nazis. I didn't realize they had their own clubs. Yeah, the Poles or the gays or the gypsies. I mean, Romania. Yeah. The 20 million Slavic Russians killed. Yeah, exactly. In total, something like what was it? 60 million died in World War II, but yet we only are supposed to care about 6 million of them out of the 60. No, I'm sick of it. I have family who died fighting that war. So, yeah. Okay. Well, this went dark near the end here, but I've been on for about an hour. Like as always, if you've got a last minute comment, toss it in here. And I'll count to 5. And if something doesn't pop up, it's the end of the show. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Please check your texts, talk to Kat, get back to me. Oh, okay. Absolutely. Well, good night or good afternoon, everyone. Have a good day, and we'll hang out again soon.